Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR with the latest on Hurricane Helene. By the way, make sure to check out tropicalroundtable.com. I've got it up and running now, the official site of the program, the Tropical Roundtable. You can see the anomaly map out there, definite El Nino in effect, as we have the warming in the Pacific and a little bit of cooling in the Atlantic, although some of the cooling has probably been caused by Florence, Gordon, and now Helene. And in the Pacific, Miriam, and which is dissipated by the way, and then Lane coming on up as a Category 3 causing some cooling, and then of course Ioki. So you see some cooling in the Pacific and Atlantic that's somewhat related to tropical cyclones, but also related to this El Nino that is in effect. Although it's been in effect all season, it could get a little bit stronger, but yeah, looks like generally it should not have a significant impact on the season any more than it has already. And right now we're running just about as we were 2000, 2001. This time in 2000 we had Tropical Storm Helene coming up towards Florida. This time in 2001, we had Hurricane Umberto, so the H-named storm, and those years both ended with Nadine in 2000 and with Olga in 2001. So we could still get down to the N-O named storms, very possible. You see Helene down to a Category 2, but looking good on the visible. Here's the latest on Gordon. 85 miles an hour moving east at 33. This is going to impact the Azores as a hurricane and then potentially still be a tropical storm by the time it gets to Spain. You can see it's down to 979 millibars, up rather 979 millibars. And this has lasted a lot longer, I think, than anybody has predicted. Instead of just kind of heading out like it was supposed to, it slowed down and kind of tied things up, and now it's started to move back. But it's strengthened and stayed stronger than anybody thought it would as well. So Gordon, a tenacious system as the Hurricane Center notes. Center right there. There are the Azores and going to slam right into them. Watch out there. Hurricane Helene had been up about 125 miles an hour, now down to 110. Still has the potential to re-intensify into a Category 3, but again, it should be moving out, as all models have now predicted. That one biggie coming off the East Coast is what will turn Helene, and it's interesting. It was like, okay, Helene's going to turn here, then it's going to turn here. Now it's going to turn. So, you know, third time's the charm. You can see the classic stair-step path with the Cape Verde hurricane, and that's something everybody was going, hey, maybe we'll see a Cape Verde season. Well, we certainly have, and you can see Helene, nice-looking hurricane, not necessarily strengthening, probably going to fluctuate in an eye wall replacement cycle and then start to strengthen a little bit again. But I think its chances at Cat 4 are becoming slim. Off Africa, a tropical wave moving off, a couple of them over Africa. This 4 storms line up. As a matter of fact, if you ask the GFS, I'll tell you in a minute. Here you can see another view of it. A lot of moisture in here, not like we saw earlier in the season. Latest Canadian, this is the 12Z Canadian. In 6 days, shows a system down here. This would be Isaac. Shows another interesting feature moving into Mexico, coming up from the Caribbean. Shows a lot of that. We don't typically see that. We could, but not usually, and it's been showing that a lot this year, so I'm kind of iffy on that, but I'm definitely interested in this feature off Africa. Uh, there goes Helene in 6 days, says the Canadian. Now, it's interesting. Is this season going to be luck to where we get a system pulling out just when we get another system behind it to get caught up in the wake, and it happens again and again? So far, that's been the case. We had Florence move out, pull Gordon, Helene move out, pull Gordon, or Gordon move out and pull Helene. Could we see Isaac kind of get swept up in Helene? Well, it's going to be interesting to see, but this model's kind of hinted on that. 120 hours, MM5 clearly shows the system turning well to the east quickly, but it did the same with Helene, and Helene moved more west, so I have to wait and see. There goes Helene. Another wave moving off Africa. Interesting feature in the Bahamas. Rapidly intensifying hurricane off Mexico and a system in the Bay of Campeche. The MM5 spin up a lot of systems. Those may not all be tropical cyclones, but we'll see. Hopefully they're not. No gaps, 144 hours, a little bit more west. A little bit more west here. So we're going to have to watch that, because if Helene is this far north and we do have a system this far south, the likelihood of it missing the islands would be unlikely at that time if it's steered by a ridge. 144-hour GFS. Here comes Isaac. Here comes Joyce. Here comes Kirk. And then in about 384 hours, we have Leslie coming off. And we actually have the tracks. This storm, the GFS ends up turning right about at 60. This one ends up pooling like this. Kirk comes off, becomes a strong hurricane, but moves on out, and then we have Leslie moving out. So the GFS is forecasting in the long range 4 Cape Verde hurricanes, two of which, Isaac and that would be Kirk, just having fun with the names and the way the order the GFS shows, become major hurricanes, but luckily they all stay out. So we'll wait and see about that. Now you're looking at the shear map, you're going, what's going on here? Why is there so much shear? Well, you have to remember you have the shear around Hurricane Helene, okay? And then you have an upper level low in here, so you got the shearing coming off like this. So, that's why it looks so suspicious. But other than that, anything that comes off Africa will have a pretty good environment. You can see the flow right now is off to the west. You see Helene getting caught in this weakness as this system moves off the east coast. It's going to get pulled right on up. Perfect. Gordon caught off to the east. Eastern Pacific, there goes Merriam. Not much left. Could this be Norman? Well, Storm and Norman, not so sure yet. It doesn't look that impressive. Central Pacific, you're going, what's this? Sorry, folks, I'm starting to lose my voice. Uh, Tropical Depression 2C is moving to the west-northwest 11. Could become a hurricane. If it does so, its name would be Kika. Kika. Interesting. What is this beast? Is this the return of Aoki? No. However, it is another tropical cyclone, Typhoon Yagi. 115 miles an hour, could become a Category 4 and then slip on by past Japan. You can see it kind of had this loop-de-loop, kind of came back around as forecast, so far following the forecast, but it's a very small tropical cyclone. I'm Mike Naso, that's the latest on the tropics. Tonight, center of circulation on IPR. Tomorrow night, Tropical Roundtable. Thursday night, talking tropics. Line up tropical week as we have a lot of activity. And don't forget to check out IPR365.com and tropicalroundtable.com.